Alright, we're going to see if we can figure out what's wrong with this thing. Haven't looked at this yet. We'll see what happens. Alright, let's open it up and see what we got. Pretty simple toggle there. Oh, it's one of those switches. I hate these switches. They're really prone to getting gunk on them and messing up pretty badly. Let's look at the actual board. Okay, so this is kind of nasty, but this is mostly just flux residue. Yeah, that's just flux, it's not anything bad. I guess we'll check contacts on it and see what's going on here. Because this wasn't working properly when I tried this earlier. Let's see. Alright, so from meter on continuity. Okay. These solder joints are terrible. But I guess they do the job. So that channel seems fine. Let's try channel 2. Ground. Huh. Well, I guess there's not anything wrong with it. It just didn't work the other day. I guess we'll put it back together and try it out and see if I just wired something wrong, which is very possible, but highly unlikely. You never know. Okay. Okay. Tighten everything up. I guess I'll go test this out and see if it works or not. If it did, then this is kind of a waste of a video. Alright, we're going to be taking a look inside of my Game Gear. I'm having an issue with it where it turns on, plays games, but as you can hear, the sound is just not there. Wait, that's as loud as it goes. Which is essentially nothing. So we're gonna crack it open, take a look at the boards, see if we can figure out what's going on there. Trace the audio path back to the speakers. It's pretty strange. The headphone jack actually works perfectly, but just the built-in speaker doesn't have any audio. Well, it has some audio, but not nearly what it should or what it did have before this shorted out or whatever happened to it. So I'm gonna crack it open, we'll take a look, and we'll go from there. Oh, the joy of the Game Gear. 6 AA batteries. Get Echo the Dolphin out of here. And let's see if we remember how to do this. It's been a while since I've been in here. I generally like using my manual screwdriver on smaller consoles and smaller devices as opposed to the automatic screwdriver here. But for big stuff, like the Xbox earlier, it's just so much easier to get those big screws out that are pretty heavily torqued in, and there's only a couple of them, and they're pretty good grade screws. These older console screws tend to be a little iffy. If you put too much torque on them, they'll just strip right out, and then there's no fixing it. So we definitely don't want to do that. That should be all of them. Okay. Nope, missed one. There we are. Alright, you have to be careful when you open these up that you don't rip these joining cables out. They're pretty delicate, but they just pop right out. So, we unplug those guys and keep going. Although I should probably need to look at this board right here, because that's where the headphone jack and the amplifiers for it are. And that's actually probably the wire for the speaker. I don't see anything obviously wrong with it. Let me take a closer look at these joints, solder joints. I don't see anything wrong with it, but the Game Gears are notorious for having bad capacitors. The capacitors they used in these things were very, very cheap and just very prone to going bad. I've actually, you can see I've replaced all of the caps on the video board, which was actually not that hard, to be honest. It was just kind of tedious because they're pretty small solder points. Looks like we're gonna have to go and look at the actual speaker and see if there's any like corrosion on that. Yeah. Look at that backlight while we're in here. It's just a big compact fluorescent bulb. Not to be confused with that compact fluorescent bulb, CFL, but it is just literally a compact bulb that is fluorescent, which I guess that's the same thing, but whatever. So there's the speaker. It does look pretty gross. I don't have any of my cleaning tools in here with me either. Ooh, is this chunk of foam? Don't have a way of testing that, do I? Do I have impedance on this one? about 10 ohms on the speaker, which is what it says there, so that's actually not what it says, but technicalities. 10 ohms is probably fine, so I guess the speaker's fine. Must be in this circuitry up here then. So let's take it out and get a better look at that. Before I do that, I should probably put this guy back in. There. And I'll save screwing it in for later, but so this guy needs to come off. I definitely have not been into this side of it before, so we'll be learning today. Yay! I like learning. Learning is fun. I just realized I'm probably muttering, and you're probably not going to be able to understand anything I'm saying in this entire video. And if I'm wrong, that's awesome. But if not, then I guess I could always just do a time lapse and then there won't be any audio. But that's no fun. Doesn't look like they're bulging or anything like you typically see with the caps that have gone bad. Generally they'll swell up at the bottom or start leaking out or any number of things that are pretty visually obvious. But I'm going to cut the camera off here and do some digging on this board and follow some traces and figure out why we have sound on the headphone jack and not the speaker output. So I'll be back in a minute. So I literally didn't do anything to this thing other than take it apart and unplug and plug back in, and now it works fine. So I'm going to slap it back together and see if the fix holds. I didn't actually do anything, so I don't know why I wouldn't. My complete guess is that this connector here to go to the speaker had just come loose from age, because it was at a weird angle, so it's possible that it just came slightly loose, so it just didn't work. But complete guess, the circuit is completely fine. So yeah, I'm going to put this back together, and I have no idea what I'm going to do next. We'll just go from there. I guess we'll put it back together, just snap it back together and make sure that it all still works before I get these outer case screws back in. Alright. Let's throw one in the back just to kind of hold it together. Just enough to do this. Screwdriver keeps coming apart. I'll have to fix that at some point. Good old Echo the Dolphin. There we go. Okay, we should have sound now, and we don't have sound. Okay. So let's go back open. And that's also exactly why I only put one screw in it. You never know what's going to happen with these things. Hey, look at that. The speaker wire actually popped out of its socket entirely because it is not very well made. Let's get this guy out of the way. Get a better connection here. Let's use a flathead. Just make sure it's really, really in there. Okay, that's definitely making a good connection now. Alright, Echo, let's see if it works. Haha! Cool. Alright, now I have to play the best game about dolphins ever made. Not that there's many contenders. It actually is a pretty fun game. I'm not a huge as fan as a lot of people that I know are of Echo the Dolphin, but very, very good game. Especially on the like the Sega CD version has really, really good sound. I really like that. They made a sequel actually, and I saw that at a used store the other day, and I almost picked it up, but I was trying to save some money, so I didn't. If they have that next time I go, definitely pick that up. Even if I don't play it, it's good to have for the collection, because collections are fun. If I remember right, there are screw holes under these batteries too, so I have to take all these batteries back out. Alright, so apparently tonight is the night of everything actually working already instead of me having to fix it. So I guess I need to find the thing that is the most broken that I want to fix, and then it'll just work, and then I don't have to fix it. What is the most broken thing that I have, though? That PS3 is not in good shape. I don't know if you can see him. PS3 over there. It's not in too great of a shape. It needs USB ports, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I actually tried to pull some ports off of an old USB hub and solder those on, and one of the two worked, but the other one didn't work, and I made sure all the connections were good, still didn't work. So I don't know if it's something wrong with that actual controller on that USB channel itself or what, but I haven't had time or patience to trace all those ports back, so I'll get around to it eventually. It's been probably 7 months since I've been inside that thing, so no huge hurry. Alright, all the screws are in. Does it still work? Fantastic. Alright, I guess I'm going to find something else to fix. But I know this won't work. This is the Mortal Kombat for the Super Nintendo, which got very heavily water damaged. It's really, really gross. And somewhere in that process, the Pen 40 messed up. And in my trying to fix it, the first touch of solder I got on this whole pad just fell off. So I will have to take this ROM off and stick it on something else that has the same board layout. It's not too difficult, it's just a matter of desoldering this one and then desoldering the other one and then resoldering this one back into the new one. And finding a junk cartridge that has the same pin layout. I don't know if this is a high ROM or low ROM, but you have to pay attention to the addressing, whether it goes to the high banks or the low banks on the ROM, so that it addresses properly. Because some games it writes to the high sectors, some it writes to the lows, and I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I should get some coffee. Yes, that's what I'll do next. Alright, if I find something else to work on, I will do so. Yeah. Alright, we're going to have a little bit of fun now, playing with this Mortal Kombat cartridge to see if I can get this jumper that I made that goes to the address pin that Pen 40 would go to see if we can make a picture show up. And we're going to be using the Mini we fixed the other day, which I should plug the power in for, and my good old Apple II monitor over there with the switch we just fixed, because I don't have any gender changers. So this does actually work. You can power on, and look at the horrible, horrible convergence on that monitor. Okay, that's not that bad. Okay. It must have just been like a color logo with the colors all mishmashed on there. Because green and white and color are not the best of friends. So we're going to take the top off of the Super and see if we can plug the cartridge in and just jump her to the pin that's broken. Now for the fun part. We try and get this to go into the cartridge slot and just kind of squish this in as it goes in. And this is probably a terrible idea, but might work. The fifth pin over on the back side, if I can just get a better view of it. Those aren't my pliers, those are my pliers. One, two, three, four, five. Well, it's in there. Let's pull it back up and see what happens. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. In theory, it could work. Okay, nothing on the screen. That's not unusual. So we may have misaligned the pen. I'm trying to do this with my lamp turned off because I tried this with the lamp turned on earlier and it just blew out this entire picture and you couldn't see anything on the camera at all. So, doing this for you guys, if anybody's interested in this. I hope you guys like this kind of thing, because I can't be the only one that enjoys doing this. I mean, yes, I could, but the odds are very, very low that I'm the only one that does this. Okay. Okay, I might actually be hitting the ground there also. That could be part of the problem. And it just came out. Now I'm going to have to figure out how to bleep things in the editing software, because you should not cuss on the YouTubes, because they don't like that. I wonder how they feel about calling it the YouTubes. If I ever meet anyone from YouTube, I will ask them how they feel about being called the YouTubes. Okay. Get in there. And get off of that pen there. Alright, so what I was looking at was, I don't know if you probably can't see it, but down in here, this little red wire was touching one of the pins on the ROM, so that could have also been a problem. Let's see what happens. Holy crap. It actually came on. I'm actually kind of shocked right now. Huh. I wish this had sound. My Apple II monitor doesn't do sound. So I realized that you couldn't actually see this screen at all while it was in my tripod, quote, quote. I don't think I've actually put that video up yet, but it, terrible, terrible tripod. But anyway, yes, it actually is working off of this Super Nintendo that we just took apart. Cable. Follow the cable. To the jumper box. To the single output. To the Apple II monitor. So, what this means is that this ROM is actually good on the cartridge, and that I just need to get a new cartridge that's junk that has the same board layout. I was doing some research online. It looks like Jeopardy has the exact same board as this, as well as a lot of really cheap early games that don't have saves on them. So I can just buy a bunch of games in bulk, like as long as I get them for like $0.25 a piece. I don't see that being a problem. Tear the ROMs off, solder them up, and until we get one that works, because Mortal Kombat is actually pretty expensive right now, and I got this cartridge for free because of how badly damaged it is, so be very, very happy to add this to the collection with actually having a working card in it. So I'm like super excited right now.
Haha, super, because it's a Super Nintendo.
Ha 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 ha. Alright, so here's a closer look at that cartridge. See what I was talking about with the pen having come off. Come on, focus. I'm terrible at this. This is really hard one-handed. So when I tried to solder that pen, that whole thing just popped off. The pins beside it are really super loose on the board. I'm guessing from where it got soggy, the whatever actually adheres the copper to the board started to come loose. So yeah, just a little jumper wire to it, and I am super surprised that that worked. Actually, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I did my research on it to figure out that it should work. I'm just surprised that it did work. But yeah, that's it for now. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the dislike button, because YouTube likes it whether I get likes or dislikes. So by all means, leave a comment. Let me know how you like these videos. If you want me to change up how I'm doing these, if you want me to change time lapses, whatever you guys like. This is all for you guys. So I'm just documenting what I'm doing. So let me know. Let me know in the comments, and we'll talk to you next time.